So yeah, those Halloween haunt guys are really something, aren't they? Um, I like the video, and they're kind of scary. Um, but I hope to see them again, maybe live next time. But I am going to check out their socials and look them up on Facebook for sure. And I'm going to like them because I like them. See you next time. Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show. And welcome once again to the Heikadelic Show.
Yo.
Hey, boys. How's everybody tonight?
Good.
Good.
You didn't want the headphones on there, Heiko?
No, it's just got my other ones on, so it's all good. Yeah.
Are those the earbuds they call them?
Yeah, they're actually quite amazing.
I was going to ask them because they've become popular. Are they quite comfortable, really?
They're super comfortable. They don't come out like they're just sort of turned into your ear.
Yeah, it looks that way. I've seen.
There's not much to them. Like, look at that. Right.
Oh.
The earbud piece.
Oh,
It fits in your coccyx, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
In your coccyx. Yeah.
They look pretty comfortable.
Because I had the other ones before with the cord and everything, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, we can't hear you now.
Yeah.
What happened?
I know.
Hey, Junior, can you tilt your camera a little bit because your banner comes right across your chin?
Your nose. There you go.
There you are. There he is.
I don't want to see in my face. I haven't even shaved or anything.
That's all right.
They come in a little case like this, right?
Okay.
And what you do is you actually charge this case, and it charges your headphones 5 times.
Oh, decent.
So you just put them in there, it charges it, and then after 5 charges, so I could do the show, and I still have probably almost an hour left after the show. That's one charge.
Because I was always George in a case of headphones. I was always the one ear guy when it came to headphones all my years in radio.
Yeah, I mean, I only have this one isn't properly on my ear.
I see. I'll always have one ear on and one off.
Yeah.
Right.
Odd time I would get feedback and get shit from my boss over the air. I would get feedback. That's why I ask about the earbuds, because I have my other headset over there, but I never cared for them. So, and I can hear you guys clear as hell. So.
No, they're pretty good. Like
I
use them during the day if I want to block out noise or whatever. So I have them just on my desk on charge all the time and just throw them in.
Yeah.
What about for driving, Ringo? Because I see people.
I never use any. I don't like for driving. For driving, I have a BMW X Drive. It's a little sports car, low profile. You'll never get laid in one of them, but the minute you get outside, right? But it's got a Bose system in it, and it's killer.
You could like have sex with yourself.
You can, because you can turn it up so loud the whole car, basically vibrates.
You go Bose yourself.
You can, exactly. So.
No, I know that because my new car has everything comes through the stereo, and they're pretty decent. And all the newer cars, they're pretty decent.
Yeah.
But,
they're not bad.
The earbuds, I was curious, so that's why.
I can't drive with earbuds in because I need to be able to hear what's going on, right?
Oh, I like that as well. So
You
yeah,
gotta
it was more
watch
of- it was
too,
more of something
because
like this and whatever about the earbuds. So, but
when you
anyway.
put earbuds in, it throws off your balance a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
because
Well,
it's-
I mean,
it doesn't mean you have vertigo, but
yeah.
it's almost like
No, I know that because from experience, because I used to jog a lot, you know, and one Christmas, Liz got me, you know, like a little, what do you call it? So I could listen to me tune. And I tried it running, couldn't run. I was like, just couldn't coordinate myself at all. It was like crazy. Couldn't hear my feet.
Well, first
like,
of all, you don't really run like that.
I was running like, no, I was, because I'm like, I was all messed up, right? I'm like,
he was trying to run to the beat of the music. That's the problem.
yeah, I'm just like, what's going on? Like,
What's
just
going
not
on? I'm running.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The disco moves started on the jog. You know what I mean? So it was back in 1977. You know?
Wow.
I was gonna
Nice.
say, George,
So unfortunately, yeah.
that you bring up jogging is my grandmother. She started jogging when she was 75, and
Wow.
she's now what 81,
Yeah.
and we don't know where the fuck she is.
Really?
She went for a jog and never came back.
I'm going for a juggernaut.
I can't find my way home.
That a little bit to see.
I've
It's
heard
hard
of like
to
going out
be
for a newspaper and never coming back. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
There's an example of how hard it is to be a comedian, by the way. I mentioned that, I think, on one of your first or second shows. I tried that, guys. I went to amateur night at Yuck Yucks. And I'll tell you what, George, you'll relate to this because unlike, say, a musician, you can always fall back in your guitar. George, as a DJ, you can always try to be funny, but fall back in your music.
Oh, yeah.
You try to be funny, and all it is a microphone. I'm telling you what, boys.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it is.
Well,
you have to.
Yeah.
I would say this: you have to do it to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that I froze by any means, but I'll give you one of the examples just for the sake of for the sake of killing a half a minute here. But anyway, so you have 5 minutes on amateur night. Should you be able to get on? Very difficult to get on. It's Mark Breslin's Yuck Yucks. Ringo, you're probably familiar with Mark Breslin. Anyway, so I got getting on, and they put you on the situation where, okay, you have 5 minutes and that's it. So away you go. So in this case, I had made a whole timed out set about doing stand-up comedy. So in this case, it was me kind of doing an impersonation of Robin Leach, if you remember him, doing Lifestyle, something rich and famous. So I did all that. And so I did a bit that Robin Leach does Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
I don't know where I thought this was going to be funny. So it was like, it's Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, where it's Led Zeppelin. And I did a whole bit of a song of Led Zeppelin. The point being is, as a comedian, if you can get even a laugh, especially out of a very critical Toronto audience, you've done well. I got laughs. So my point being is the experience was something else. I learned it all because I took improvisation at Second City. You guys are familiar with Second City.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
In my time, it was when John Candy was there and such.
Yeah.
So they ask you to brave the stage to do stand-up, whatnot. So I told myself, well, you know what? I kind of, George, thought I was a funny fuck sometimes as a DJ. So now let's see how funny you are.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
So
That's cool.
that's one of my bucket list items is to do a stand-up thing.
Speaking of buckets.
Well, so
cheers.
So explain that one, Ringo.
So you know where Drums and Flats is, and
I do very much. I've been there many times.
Yeah. So downstairs, before they had Drums and Flats down there, before they did the stage and everything, they had they had like a comedy, like Yuck Yucks had a comedy club there.
Right. Yeah.
But what they would do is on, I think it was Saturday night after the last comedians were on, they would have like a karaoke night, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I went there with some friends. We got there really early, just after the comedy club, kind of filed out. So the microphone and the podium and everything, like it was still set up for the comedy club. So they said, hey, if you want to hang out for another half hour, we're going to have it set up for karaoke and blah, blah, blah. So we're like, yeah, okay, that's fine. So that I couldn't resist. There was a microphone there. So I get up and there were a couple of couples there and sitting at tables and everything. So my friends are at the table and I grab the mic and I started to kind of go through this little, unplanned comedy skit because I would be one of these ones that would draw off the crowd, right? Like,
okay,
it'd be like, hey, you in the front row. No, not you,
okay. Yes.
Right? But and just kind of play off that. And it was pretty exciting. Like I was up there for maybe 5 minutes and they were laughing. I was laughing. I was having a good time. And I thought, okay, that's enough of that.
So two things. Were you half in the bag? I'm not trying to be funny on this.
No, I wasn't even my toe wasn't even in the bag. No,
because it's interesting. And you know what? In what you just said there, this is what they teach you at Second City is improvisational comedy, to be able to center and make a skit out of, in your case, people centering them out. And that type of thing. So does it stem from, and it's a good thing at parties and social get-togethers that you enjoy telling jokes, Ringo, and consider yourself funny? And I'm not trying to be funny either. I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been being the voice of an angel. It's for me, it's not really a hard gig because the talent is there, but it also puts you center stage, right?
As a comedian as well, yeah.
It kind of gets you center stage, like. But for me, it would be about.
Hey George, I think we have to get Ringo a bigger shovel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
But it'd be like
I'm saying nothing.
Things or talking about my childhood, which was kind of bizarre. My mom was watching last weekend. She's probably watching tonight.
Yeah.
And
hello, Mrs. Ringo.
It was kind of like, I come into I grew up in a very small house. It was like maybe 2020. You had to, like 20 feet by 20 feet. You had to leave the. How many kids
in your family?
Just me.
That's what it is. You lack attention.
maybe because most of the time I play with myself, right?
No, don't get me wrong, Ringo. That's friggin' a comedian.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think all the most brilliant ones in the world were,
yes,
probably only children, or they killed their, siblings. But the so I would come into the house, and you got to think like 20 feet by 20 feet. It's not a very big house. So I come in, the kitchen's right there. But for years and years, I always thought that KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, was actually skinless, right? Like it was just chicken.
Okay.
But one day, we had this ritual. My dad would go get the KFC, bring bags of it back, and then go into the house and then just yell at me to stay outside. So I'd always be hanging with
my God.
Outside. Yeah. So anyway, one day the door flies open and there's my mom picking all the skin off the chicken, right? And she was stealing the chicken. And man, when I figured that out and I had my first taste of KFC chicken skin, I was like, wow, this is just amazing, right?
A lot of people love it.
Oh yeah. But I think, comedy, like funny things like that happen, and you can sort of play off the crowd a bit. I think that's the best comedy, right?
Because I was saying also, I think it was last show that I was able to, and still do a few, but anyway, I did up to I think it was like 16 different voices. So I put these into the skit as well.
Right. Yep.
Well, it's from working in a studio, you get to screw around with your voice a lot.
Sure.
You know, we all, even like you said, Ringo, as kids, talking through a fan.
Yeah.
That type of thing, you know. And so when you get to work in a studio and screw around with echoes and all kinds of stuff,
talking through a fan,
other than French, George. That's why all of a sudden I started talking English, you know. That's you know, and I'm not saying I'm very good at it, but I give my little bit I can, you know. I don't know what fucking part of England it comes from, but
I'm trying to figure it out. So it's good.
I tell you, it's Cockney.
Yeah. People think of England as Cockneys, don't they? They just go into that lilt, don't they? You know.
No, I think probably, as my mother had stated, Junior, are you on the dope?
Do you have any north,
you know, like me?
What I have, George,
imitations for us, or?
I have, in growing up, been around even before father passed away. All my life been around, had English friends, so it probably stems from that type of thing. I think even the comedy thing growing up, like you're saying, Ringo, comes from that. There's probably a class clown, and there's something or something.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to be funny, right?
So Heiko hasn't said shit about all this.
No.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I only did the English accent once in a while because I used to get into the British comedy.
Yeah.
I loved watching that shit, right?
Me? Yes, I did.
So it's just like, you know.
It's no mine. Yeah.
No, you do the old shut your festering gob, you tit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Monty Python.
Monty Python. There you go.
I just
Monty Python.
The camping, gone camping movies, the English ones.
Yes, I used to watch all those. I love that.
Carry on camping, carry on up the Khyber.
Carry on ones. Yeah,
carry on taxi.
Yeah, those were kind of hot too. Didn't they always have like really scantily clad?
For the time, yeah. Well, it was the blonde that was like the hot chick was Barbara Windsor was her name.
Oh, was it?
She was loads of them. On the bra when they're doing exercises at the campsite. Bing.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Well, I think it was puberty for us guys, so
for sure, no doubt.
I don't want to talk about that.
But it was fun. It was a blast. I used to.
It was good, clean, dirty fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so like double entendres, and it was dirty, but it was clean fun, wasn't it?
Well, who was that other guy that used to run around, chase all the women around?
Benny Hill.
Yeah, my dad used to like
Let's
watching
take a pill and watch Benny Hill.
Comedy period. Not because you're sitting there, because as I've said, even about rock stars, I don't blow smoke up anybody's ass, George, just because you're English. But I did love English comedy, very much so.
Yeah, I did too. Faulty Towers was another good one.
That was great. Yeah. And did you know they only made 13 episodes of that?
No.
Is it?
For how popular that became, 13 episodes.
Yeah. I know. I used to watch it over and over and over and over again, but that's what I heard. It was just only 13 shows.
But I will say this, though, George. There's one English show that, you know what? Here's what I would say about it. Look at me. Coronation Street.
Oh, that's where I'm from. I'm actually from Coronation Street. That's where it's based on.
The glasses fall.
Are you serious? Did you ever go down to that pub?
Yeah. I mean, like it was filmed at Granada TV Studios. We used to go there, like for pop shows being recorded, and we'd go on the set of Coronation Street. Even when it was live, got thrown out once. We were actually got into the studio and everything. Yeah, but it was based on Salford 6, and I'm from Salford 7. But it's like that's where it's based on. You know what I mean? Those like our house was on a corner, but like. Down the street was like just, straight onto the pavement, terraced houses. Yeah. And we had cobbled, my brother-in-law, when he came over back in the early 80s, one of the things he wanted to do was to see cobblestones on a street, right, in England. Yeah. And they were still there. They were what we call a back entry. I don't know what the equivalent would be here, but there were still cobbles.
Oh, I know what a back entry is.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah.
What do you think?
Kind
But
of
it
like
doesn't
your
have
backside.
cobblestones, hopefully, in the old back entry. But yeah, and our street was cobbled. It was actually Gainsborough Street was the street that ran down the side of our house, and that was cobbles when I was growing up as a kid. Yeah, Coronation Street. Yeah, and then like the studios, they had like Rick Granada. They had like a. I mean, they used to do so many shows from there, and they had like a like a theme park.
Right.
And there was a mock-up pub of the Rovers' return in the street, but then you actually the set was there as well in those days, so you could actually be in the street, but the pub wasn't real, you know what I mean? But then there was like a total mock-up that you could go in.
Oh yeah. Right.
Because it was just a facade, right? That was just a facade when they did the shots on the street.
Wow.
Yeah. Coronation Street. I saw the first ever episode back in 1960.
I think it's like the longest running comedy or something. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I make fun of it because of whatever. It's not my thing, but it has to be the longest running some kind of a category.
I think it is. I think it's the longest running soap. Yeah, in the history of television. Yeah.
It's been out there for a while. My mother.
I know a couple people that watch it, and I tried.
I think it gets bad. Yeah, I think it's kind
I
of.
couldn't do it, man. I thought it was terrible.
To me, it's like a bad soap opera, right?
It's really. I don't think it's as popular. Oh, I think it gets a lot of bad press these days because it's so depressing.
Pulteney Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a go there because because of the comedy, but it was too into the too much soap opera and whatever. But that's not the only, but most of but just about all of English comedy on the buses as well. It was pretty funny.
Wild.
Oh, did you ever see Dave Allen at Large?
Oh, Dave Allen, brilliant.
Dave Allen, that's what you call comedy back in the day. Yes, again.
What is missing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I think I saw him live once. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I saw him live actually once. Yeah.
I tried to find his stuff again. I can't find it anywhere. It's nowhere to be found. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Nothing on the internet.
No.
Really bizarre.
It's so weird because I used to love watching that show. I still remember some of the skits. They were so well done and funny as hell, right? He was into politics and religion were his big things, right?
Yeah.
And the one skit I remember he did, it was just hilarious.
I would wonder
where
if you didn't run an ad sometime somewhere or on a social something that you wouldn't find somebody that would have some copies of that.
There has to be something.
There's got to be. There's so much of his stuff.
I looked for a collection. Like you can get Benny Hill, you can get Monty Python, you can get everything, right?
Yeah.
Faulty Towers, but I could not find anything on him because I wanted to buy it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
May your God go with you. That was his closer.
Yes.
But it's what was that blonde's name that you said in the Carry On movies there?
Barbara Windsor.
Okay, yeah, I had briefly dated a girl that kind of looked like her, and I think it was because of
Barbara Windsor. Yeah, she was like, she's
still
going. She's in like a soap now. I think she's like a great grandmother or something. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. So she's still a grandmother, but maybe even a great grandmother. But she's been in a soap for years. I can't think which one it is. Yeah.
So here's the weirdest, English kind of like it's like a trio called the Mighty Boosh out of I'm not sure exactly where they're out of, but this is very raw English comedy, and the lead character is called Old Greg, and it's very, very warped.
All right.
It is.
You've been warned. Oh, neat. Fine mashup.
Join in, boy. Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? Who's up inside ya? Finding an entrance where they can. Who's up inside ya? Finding an entrance where they can. Boring free, you tell me free, you mind free, your anus. Eels. Eels. Who's that? That's Elsie boy. Why don't you dance with her?
Yeah, this is very weird.
Yeah, kind of creepy actually.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be comedy.
Yeah, something like that. Well,
Where did
there's
you find that,
a
Ringo?
bunch of different versions of it. So the first one is, it's just 3 or 4 guys, and they do this weird, very off the wall comedy thing. But I was kind of glued to it when my daughter was, I think, 12 or 13. She said, "Hey, Dad," she was all about this. She was just like glued. But some of it, if you've got a warped sense of humor, is kind of funny. But
Yeah, I agree. You don't want to always shut things off. I had tried not to do that a long time ago. I was saying that about certain music, but yeah. But don't get me wrong, Heiko. It is sometimes odd that sometimes you got to wonder, well, okay, what the hell is that warped sense of life?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Again, I will give anything a try. Like you said, movies, music, like whatever. You got to give it a try, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny that we're talking about TV shows. I just stumbled across one the other day. I've never heard of it. I don't know if you guys have. It's called The Man in the High Castle.
No.
Have you heard of this?
No.
No?
No.
I was just searching for something new, and I stumbled across it. I go, "What is this?" And then when I clicked on the trailer, I'm looking, I'm going,
Right.
Holy shit, this is not what I expected. So, but I watched 2 episodes of it, and it's really different, but it's actually kind of good. It's piqued my interest.
I think that's my point about finding something. But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, it's way out there. It's well done. It's got some good actors in it and all that shit too. It's if the Germans won the war, how would the world be? Yeah, and I'm watching this, and I'm kind of like going, how are they even allowed to air this? Like how? Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
If this is the trailer, I don't even know how they're allowed to air this, because the references they make to the Jewish people and all that stuff, and this, it's weird the way it's all set up, because you have the Chinese and Americans living together in North America.
Oh wow. Okay, maybe I shouldn't play this trailer then.
No, the trailer's okay. It's when you start watching the show.
Right.
It gets into depth. And the Chinese people are law enforcement. They're all hired as police, and they're policing. And it's kind of weird, because you're in the US, you have the American flag, but where the stars are in the corner, it's a swastika, right?
Oh no.
And yeah, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. So and I go, oh my God, this is terrible.
This trailer or go for it?
No, go for it. It's actually pretty good. It's something I never would have thought I would have found, but it makes all these references to way back.
That was a George at the start.
Newsreel film.
Yeah.
Winning the war.
We should depend on Anna. That was at the start.
Oh,
see,
wow.
that's New York City. That was New York.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Look at there's the flag.
That's I don't
but you know what? That is. I mean, that could have been it, right?
Wow.
Well,
that was the plan, wasn't it?
This is what this show is.
That was their plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're.
That film shows the world not as it could be, but as it is.
Has to be about something more.
Yeah, but all that ugly stuff that went on because of, I can't even look at that shit. Honestly. Did you see
they showed the map there, eh? And the map had the I forget what they call it now, but China and U.S. in one, and then the rest of it, the whole other part of the world, it's all like got the eagle on it, right? It's weird.
Is that
But
right?
what? Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And what's happened here, what the show is about so far, is everything is under control by the Germans, but there's these movies, like 8mm movies, like in the little spools.
All right.
And this is what they're talking about. This one lady, she stumbles across these, and they show a truth which could change everything, because everyone thinks the Germans have won the war and everything's under control by them. But these films show a different scenario, shows that they didn't win the war. Yeah. So they're trying to find these and destroy them, where people are trying to get them to other people. The man in Heikadelic, whoever this is, I don't know yet, they're trying to get the movies to him. So I guess so he can throw it out there for the world to see. So
it does have an interesting storyline for sure.
It is. It's really neat the way it's done. But I'm watching and go, are they actually airing this on
I would imagine.
TV?
I would imagine a lot of people. There's a lot of people would get upset by some of that. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
yeah, and the way society is today, everybody whines and complains about everything, and we got to do the right thing, and all all this nonsense.
Yeah,
it's weird. We haven't heard anything about it.
That's an interesting perspective on it, though, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the problem that I have is that if it's going to show any kind of visual of what I was talking about and all that torture and all that, that's where I have the issue. The storyline, if that is what ends up being shown in this, it's me and a lot of other people, obviously, but the storyline from what you're saying sounds really interesting.
It is.
It is.
It's fascinating, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like that with I had a brain for it there. What was the with Sons of Anarchy? When I saw the first episode, and you guys will know this episode, and it was the one where he had burnt that guy's daughter alive.
Oh,
fried and refried.
I thought, this is the sickest mother, I've ever. Who wants to watch this? And yet, for some reason, I don't even know what to say. Then I became a fan, and I needed to watch it right to the very end, and did like a lot. But it's funny what intrigues us sometimes.
It's funny because I got into that show too. I watched it for a couple of seasons, and I believe it was the end of season maybe 3 or 4.
All right.
When the mother-in-law, Peg Bundy, I don't know the actress is Kate, whatever her name is, the one that played,
Katie,
where she killed
Katie something.
Seagull.
Yeah, that's
Kate
right.
Seagull, yeah.
She kills the cop and her son's wife.
Right.
Yep. And she beats their heads open with something, and I was done. I couldn't watch anymore.
Well, that
was just too much. What's this? Congealed entrance.
This is Benny Hill for sure.
But
that was so funny. My parents used to let me stay up late to watch it.
Yeah. Well, my dad loved watching it, so we got to watch it with him.
That was 1986, though. I mean, I was in high school.
Yeah.
Or college.
I missed I don't know.
He was a very lonely person, but he actually just died alone in his apartment or his flat, as they say over there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard that too.
I think he was dead. He was dead for a day or two or something like that before anyone even found him. It was really sad what happened to him.
Say that, Georgia, but a lot of the famous
brilliant comedian, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Ironically speaking, a comedian that the loneliest people, like a Robin Williams committing suicide. Who would have thought something like that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I heard that from John Panette, one of my favorite comedians.
Funny,
the big fat guy.
My God, yes.
Right. And he was in an interview once, and he said that stand-up comedians are one of the loneliest people that tour,
very much.
because
Yeah.
they're by themselves. If you're singing or you're in a band, you hang out with your band members. You've always got people around you.
Exactly.
Or there's groups that tour, but stand-up comedy, he says.
Well, it's
the loneliest thing.
I mean, Benny Hill started originally in the 50s on the BBC. Then those shows were on ITV, went to independent television to do those. But I mean, that's how long ago he started. But one of the huge comedians, he was a young comedian then coming up. But one of the big comedians was a guy called Tony Hancock, and he was huge in the UK.
Wow.
And but he was like like you say, a lonely guy, you know, depressive and all that. But he was a comedian, right?
Yeah.
He had a TV show, actually funny, with Sid James, who was in the Carry On movies. But someone got him to go to do a tour of Australia, and he just absolutely bombed on this tour. And he came back to Britain, and he thought his career was over, and he actually committed suicide after his Australian tour. Yeah. Tony Hancock is his name. Fascinating story. If everyone wants to look into comedians and what they go through. Yeah.
Well, it's very true in a lot of the cases there, like I said. But that John Panetta, he was one of my favorite lines from him. I go, salad's not food. It's a promise that food is coming.
Yeah. When he's at the Chinese buffet, right? The Chinese guy comes out, yells at him, "Hey, big boy, you be here for far."
Yeah. Oh, you big boy.
Home now.
Oh dear. Won't happen today.
He was fantastic, man. I love that
Free
guy.
Willy.
Yeah. Free Willy. Yeah. Yeah.
The water park was the best, though.
Yeah.
Free Willy.
Oh, I love that guy, man. And then all the people taking pictures of him as he's flying over top in his Speedo.
Yes. You can just picture it, too, about him with that Speedo.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Even as we're talking
that's him. That's Tony Hancock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be if you've got whatever it is, 45 minutes just to watch that story. It's tragic. Absolutely tragic.
Really, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. I was a kid when I used to watch him as a kid, and it was kind of slightly above my head, you know. But I remember hearing about him. Yeah.
Another famous classic, guys, the same story is the Three Stooges.
Oh yeah.
They had awful backgrounds and what
happened to them. Yes. And there's I have
love the Three Stooges.
Every single episode they ever made. I have all their movies, and they were on stage before the Three Stooges. Did you guys know that?
Who was that?
The Three Stooges. They were actually on stage before they did the Three Stooges.
Like a live act, like a music hall.
Vaudeville. How do you say
vaudeville? Yeah, that's what's thinking.
Yeah.
In England, we call what's called vaudeville here was called music hall in the UK. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. It was television that killed a lot of those acts. Yeah, it's TV.
Oh, okay. So since we're saying it's Champ or Curly.
Oh, Curly.
Curly every time.
Well, that was sad. That was sad there too. Curly got very sick, right? He got cancer.
Yeah.
And he slowly started going down, and then he wasn't able to do the show. So they brought in, they had Shemp, they had the other bald guy. They had a couple guys to replace him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. I can't recall his name, though. Yes.
Yeah. And there's an episode, I think it's in 1941, where they're on a train, and Curly had been out of a couple of shows already.
I'm supposed to remember that. We're not that friggin' old, Michael. No, I'm not anyway. 1940 what?
Yeah, but 41. They were being shown. You see?
Yeah, I know. Of course,
they started in 36, I think.
36. Well, I used to go to on Saturdays for kids. They used to have Saturday matinees. We didn't have TV. We didn't have TV like kids' TV in the morning.
Well, in Toronto.
And but there used to be like the movies would have like from like one, I don't know what it was, maybe 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon from 1 till 4.
Cartoons as well.
Yeah.
The cartoons, and they'd have like the old Batman, the really old the original Batman, and Zorro and things like that. And the Three Stooges. That's where I first saw the Three Stooges on those Saturday afternoons when I was about 6 or 7, and I just loved them.
Same
I
deal.
found one of them scary. Larry, I think Mo, right? With the
Mo, I think.
yeah, I found him really scary. He was scary.
Yeah, he was the badass.
Yeah,
he was always hitting everybody.
Yeah.
Look, Mom, it's Scotty Mo.
Yeah, no, I think I had nightmares about him actually.
I love that.
Really?
That could be the name of my next band, Scary Mo.
Scary Mo.
Scotty Mo.
Here we go.
It's
No,
Scotty
yeah, I had
Mo.
nightmares about him. Yeah,
Oh, here you go. I have it up on the screen here. They started in 1934.
Wow.
And they went to 59.
Wow.
So that's pretty damn good. Yeah. And there's like that episode where they're on the train, and Curly had been out of a couple of shows, and he's actually on the train as a guest appearance. He makes a sneak appearance because he was really sick already.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, I was look what I found while I was surfing here.
Okay.
Let's see here. I was as I was going through the YouTubies of the world. YouTube.
I love YouTube. Everything is there.
Look at that.
Oh wow.
Who are those guys?
Well, what's it them?
Is it a video? Oh, it is. Oh.
That's live.
Yeah, sure. So it is. The voice of the angel is another personality. Aha.
Look, there were 14 Marshall amps on that stage, Tina.
Wow.
Either sidewash, behind.
Well, you on the right, so turn it up.
Jeff, one of our photographers in the pit.
Let me get my eyes so I can actually see.
You count all the Marshalls. Can you believe that?
Yeah, is that at the music hall?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
yeah.
5, 6, 8. I'm counting so far.
2016.
And then the heads down on the floor there.
Yeah.
Not the monitors. Those are heads down in front of the drummer, or aren't they? Or are those monitors for the
That
drummer?
was a fun gig.
Good production.
Hey, you got to get Phil back on the show one day.
Yeah.
I want to have a shot of 40 Creek with him. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to this band, but they vanished.
They just vanished.
I think they're a myth. I don't think they actually
disappeared.
existed.
We're talking about that last week. I don't know whatever happened to them.
I don't know. It's kind of sad.
A rock and roll tragedy.
Yeah.
Yes. I think they all blew up.
I actually believe that they are the Banana Splits.
Oh,
They've been
That's
in
right.
disguise.
Ah,
Splits
Yeah,
and
that's
good
bananas.
one. Good one. Good one.
Well,
They're
that's
in
how
disguise.
that's how they make their fucking millions, by really selling themselves as the Banana Splits. You're not going to make any money in rock and roll, right, Ringo?
Absolutely. That's what happens for sure.
But you can make your money in getting tips. We were talking
Yes,
about this
you can.
before the show, remember? Mm-hmm.
I bring that up because look at what's his name, Charlie on 2.5 Men, selling and making millions. There are thousands or hundreds of thousands doing children's music, right? So you never know what you could sell of music. And I don't know. Would you? I do that, Ringo. You write music.
Yeah.
If you were offered right now to write music for children, you'd do it in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can thought on that.
Yeah.
So,
see what Keisha said. Christmas tradition. We get up early in the morning and we have our coffee and watch the Three Stooges.
Yep.
I agree.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
I know people like do
So
that.
Kathy's saying, did I miss the backside?
No, we've not done it yet.
No, we saved it and we waited just for you.
We started doing it late, haven't we? We started doing it a bit later.
Let's go for it.
Want it? Okay.
Wait 1 second.
The intro. Maestro.
Hang on,
Count me in.
We've got to find our little man here.
All right.
What? It's not mine. It's not mine.
Hey folks, it's time for George's backside, my favorite part of the show. So sit back and have a look at his backside. And you can catch George out in the clubs, DJing, that's right, flipping those discs and whatever else he does. But hey, right now, I just want you to focus on his backside and come up with some answers.
All right, kids. All right. Ready? Here we go. Going back. We're going back.
Ooh.
Oh, I gotta get my eyes on again here.
Hang on.
Uh-oh, the sticky's falling down.
Falling off. Sticky's there, yeah.
I can't make that out, what that is. Is that a guy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a guy. You just have his face is whited out. He's wearing like a
probably
coat.
That's why.
Oof.
Is that the artist? Is that the artist? That's why the face is out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The tall, lanky mother.
I see it. There's a little clue there. There's a clue there if you...
Oh. Let's see that maybe clue again.
If you can know where to look. Hang on. Where are we?
David Bowie is my first guess.
David Bowie. David Bowie. Let's have a look.
Who's a guess? English, American.
American.
Okay, so I wish I would have asked that first.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have been able to buzz. I've not buzzed for 2 weeks.
I know. Did you see George's face? He got all excited because last week he wasn't allowed to use his buzzer.
I didn't get to buzz once.
Yeah.
Oh, I realized maybe it's a cushion underneath his ass, so it gives him a little. Likes his buzzer. No, I'm sorry. He's American.
He's American.
All right. Year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's from the US.
Hi, Kathy.
Stevie Wonder. Kathy goes for Stevie Wonder. Oh, let's see.
Probably a good guess, though.
It's a good guess. Did you see the clue there, Kathy?
Oh.
Did you spot it?
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Oh, 3 buzzes. I feel so much better now.
I'm trying to make out what that thing is in front of his leg.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
It's Long John Silver. Blood Rock Sausage, for sure.
Blood Rock Sausage.
For George this week. Got me stumped.
Well, yeah, this particular album came out in late 71 into 72.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. And he'd been around before that. He'd been around in the 60s.
I was just listening to old Rod Stewart Faces there before the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he still performing now?
No, he's no longer with us.
Oh.
He's no longer with us. Okay.
He actually died of a rather tragic death. I think he got shot.
Oh.
I won't tell you by who, but you might. I don't know if you'd even know that actually. But still.
Oh, then I know who that is. Hang on. That's not Marvin Gaye.
Is it Marvin Gaye? What makes you think that? Who cares about his music? It's how he got shot by his father, I think he was.
That's sad.
Well, I don't know who got that one first. Like, it's.
Oh.
I don't know.
Kathy and I did this the last time.
Finish there.
I always give it to the fan first, so that's
right. Yeah, Love it. Actually, I bought this. I remember listening to this album. It came out around the time I took my first driving test. It always reminds me of that when I hear what's going on, like in this album, on the track. It just takes me back. And the week before my driving test, my last lesson, before I took the test, I actually crashed the car I was learning in.
You had to.
Wow.
What a great
Story for another day, but yeah.
Holy
I
shit.
crashed into a truck, going around a corner. Yeah, and I was taking a test like the following week.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Don't ever let me give you a ride, by the way, guys.
Crashed into a truck.
I'll never let him borrow your Beamer.
Don't let me your vehicle. No.
How the hell do you crash into a truck?
I was going around a corner. It was snowing a bit. It was a bit slippy, the road, and it was like it wasn't a bend in the road, and we were both kind of like, and I'm drifting.
George, was that the time when the Model T Fords came out and they had those?
I think it was the year before, 1936.
Yeah, you had to stop your car, toot your horn 3 times, get out of your truck, walk around the vehicle.
Yeah.
This is when you came to a stop.
If you're really well off, you'd have a guy in front of you with a lamp.
Vehicle.
That's right. There
You had to honk it another
I hadn't
3
passed my
times.
test then, so I couldn't.
And then you could drive forward for 5 feet, stop again, honk, and then keep going.
Yeah, those are the good old days. Yeah, you don't. But my driving instructor, because I didn't know who, because we kind of met in the middle of the road, from what I can remember, and I got the side, went into the side of him and blah blah blah, and I said to my driving instructor, it was like, because I was booked it through like a driving school, and I said, "Was that my fault?" And he went, "Yes, it was, but don't, just keep quiet, leave it to me." So that was it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great.
Wow.
Your driving test, for God's sake.
Oh yeah, we don't mess about. We go. Come on.
Yes.
We get value for money when we take driving lessons. We make it exciting.
Yeah, I just don't know how you guys do it, because you guys drive on the wrong side of the road.
Well, I did that day for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! I had an awful thought about your transition when you came to Canada. It's where you didn't kill anybody, for God's sake.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, actually, when I came here, again, I've got better since. But like
sure you have.
I failed my first 2 because you had to take the test within. I think it was 6 months. Was it 3 months? Can't remember. Because like you can drive on like an international license or whatever, or a temporary license, but you have to take your Ontario test within like whatever it is, 3 months or something like that.
You knew about your past that fucking day.
I failed my first 2 tests, right?
Oh, you did. Driving test?
I've been driving for like 16 years, and I failed like my first 2 tests here in Ontario.
The driving tests themselves?
Yeah, just failed them, right? It's a long story, but I took it the third one. Right. The third time I took it, I went over to Brampton, and it was like the first 2 were in Scarborough.
Go ahead, that's fine.
The first was actually on the streets of Scarborough, right? Around Warden and around there. Right. And so I thought I have to come and get my test. I have to get it sorted. I've like 2 failures now. There's a waiting list, right? So I thought I'll go to Brampton. Where you could like sit and wait on the day, you could just wait your turn. So I was sat there all day, and I didn't hear my name get called, and I had to go back again after the long weekend. And I'm sat there, and I took my test, and the guy, like, I had 2 women actually failed me the first 2 times, like, and 2 different women. And the guy said to me, he goes, "I see you failed your test twice." I said, "Yeah, I know, I don't understand it." He said, "I don't either." He said, "You drive great." So I don't know. I don't know what it was.
That's so weird.
I guess he just didn't like me, didn't like the way I spoke. I don't know what it was. But he said, "There's nothing wrong with you driving." I said,
Thanks, pal.
How did you score your first driving test? Heiko, did you pass first time?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. It was funny too, because I still remember I was driving my dad's old 1970 Duster.
Nice,
right?
Car.
Yeah, great car. I wish I had that car.
Yeah, we all.
And the emergency brake was busted. He says, "Don't put the emergency brake on, because it would click and you couldn't undo it." So when I did the parking on a hill thing, I didn't use emergency brake.
Oh, shit. So you would fail that.
Right. And the guy said, I said, oh, I can't use it. It's broken. My dad said not to use it because then we'll be stuck.
Okay.
But that was the only thing I did wrong. So the guy said, oh, okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he
did all right.
Didn't fail you because of that.
No. He just made mention of it.
I ended up getting in my driving test my blind spot wrong.
Oh.
Checking my blind spot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is quite a major, apparently. Which is true though when you think about it, that you can put a bus right there. So ever since
pretty much.
Ever since that day, man, I've been a blind spot addict because it is very true that I've had it happen.
Yeah.
I've had it happen. Oh, especially, oh my God, guys, you guys, I don't know if you've done this before. I'm sure this drive. So I go 400, then I go 401 west to 427 south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have to get off of Dundas to get to Rock.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say you're going to the rock pile.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What is it? 6 lanes across.
I'm gonna say.
Holy son of a bitchin' highway, Indy.
Yeah.
Son of a bitchin', wow. I've never even come close, but what a rush it is. So
you have to survive it. I know.
Those punks that are in those cars.
Yeah.
I've seen it. How many of you have seen it? But yeah,
you got to have eyes everywhere, right? You got everywhere.
No, see, there's one rule, and you will never ever have a problem with a blind spot again. Is you have to drive faster than everybody else, and then you don't need your mirrors. You just worry about what's in front of you.
I think that's why I called my car my Batmobile. It's a Honda because they pick up real quick. God.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
I used to drive that way a lot because I used to do a lot of work in Mississauga when I lived in Ajax.
Yeah.
And some of the halls out there and everything had a hall that I did all the time. And it took a bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, you're fine, right? Yeah. But then I did it must have been about just before COVID. I hadn't done it and I thought I used to do this like once a week at least. And now I was like terrified. I'm driving, like you say, you come off the 401 onto the 427 south, and it's like, jeez. And I've got, I'm trying to see out of the van. I've got gear in the back, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because of where they all are running off there, right? To get to
there's so many lanes, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you get in the wrong lane. That's it. You're screwed. You have to go all the way to the bottom and come
just
back up.
Pick up speed and worry about what's in front of you, and then just away you go. You don't need your mirrors. Done.
Yeah. I used to drive the van, right? I have gear in the back, so it doesn't pick up that fast. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, one of the things I failed on here, one of those 2 tests I failed on, was something because I've been driving for years, right? So you get your bad habits, right? So you failed me for coasting, coming up to a junction or a stop or traffic lights. For coasting, or whatever the term was, improper use of gears, because I was driving stick. I had a Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
And she failed me on that, right? Because you put your foot down, you go to the clutch, and you know what I mean. And it's like that's where I used to drive. I didn't go down. I just disengaged the clutch, right, with my foot.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know there isn't, but that was one of the things I got failed on that test.
Wow.
And everyone, not everyone takes it in a stick, right? Standard. They take it in an automatic. Which was I thought was grossly unfair, but what can you do?
Yeah, and plus some people that give tests are just not fair either.
Yeah, having a bad day.
Sometimes anybody with authority sometimes anyway, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know there is a huge problem with the way you get your licenses here. And that is
Kathy. There's a Tamla Motown there's a Tamla Motown logo here. If you look closely enough, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh,
there you go.
No, we didn't see that.
Oh,
okay.
So, anyways, I went to Lindsay because that's closer by to get my license there, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get I got my license down in the city, but in Lindsay, I go there all the time, for renewals and all that shit because they're the closest place. So now Lindsay is a little country town, It's pretty much.
I worked at the radio station in Lindsay, in the house.
Oh, did you? In the
Yes.
house, really?
Yes.
I listened to that station. They called it Bob FM for a while. Now
Bob
it's called
FM.
something else.
Yeah.
In your time, what is CKLY?
Yes, CKLY. Gotcha.
I say that because over my shoulder is the I still have the emblem from working there. But yeah, I found
That was on
right on.
That was on George Street, right? The studio. Was it George Street?
It was in the house there owned by the Blakeleys.
Kent Street, the main road.
Yeah.
It's right on the
Oh, in
main.
Lindsay. Oh, Lindsay. Sorry, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of something else in Peterborough.
Arby's
Yeah.
is just
So-
down the street.
So you know Lindsay. So Lindsay is technically a white town, a country town. It's just
Yeah.
it's all you see there, right?
Religion is because of a lot of it.
Yeah.
Farm town.
So you go into the ministry to do anything to do with your driver's license. I walk in the building
All right.
and I look and I was like, what the hell? I was the only white guy in there. It was all East Indians, Chinese people, black people. And I'm looking, I go, what? And they're all young people going to get their license.
That's
So I go, I don't get it. So I start chatting with some people in there, right? And they're all from the city. They were from Scarborough, Ajax, Mississauga.
I see.
So they go all the way to Lindsay to get their license because it's in a little town and it's easy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is so wrong because now these kids go and get their licenses in a little town
Yeah.
and go back and they drive in the city. And that's
Yeah.
How many
bullshit.
in a van?
Yeah.
The place was full.
Yeah.
Full of
Yeah.
them.
Well, actually,
So
I can
what
get
they
that.
should do when you go to get your license, they should get your ID and look at where you live and say,
I
you
think
got to
that-
make your license where you live.
I
Yeah.
think so. You have to be.
You know?
there right now. I think.
Yeah, because there's no like 401 down there or anything.
No, there's nothing. It's a little country town.
No, I know Lindsay. Well, when I first in '87, I was living like at Shepherd and the 401, and that's where I went to get my license and everything in Scarborough. That was a zoo, man. That's
Yeah.
oh, and that was 1987. I can't imagine what it's like now. The wait time in that place was unbelievable for anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Easy to drive in Lindsay. Oh my God.
yeah, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I enjoy
You
the
just have to drive like everybody else. You have
Yeah.
to be a little stunned
most
half
cases
asleep
it's true.
or on
highway
or on drugs or something.
Yeah.
Then you're okay for Lindsay.
You know,
Yeah.
I think, well, Lindsay's an interesting place because there's a lot of that goes on there, right? Like
Yeah.
I went into the.
I find they
wanted to
don't
make
obey rules. They just kind of drive. They just pull out, they turn, they just do whatever. And that's
Yeah,
Lindsay.
well,
But
I
they do
had
it
a bag.
they do it
I had a-
slow though. They do it slow, but that's it.
So I had a bag of money one night, and
Yeah.
I got
Not
into
a bag
Lindsay,
of
but-
Richards.
No, a bag of money. And I was in Lindsay and I decided, I'm not going to travel with this kind of money all weekend. So I went to one of the banks downtown.
Right.
And there were people, couple in there doing, I think, crack cocaine in the lobby area. Right. So, and it was
Nice.
around COVID time and stuff like that. So I'm like, I had to go in, and so I ended up calling the cops because I wanted the police to get them out of there so that I can go in safely and do my
Yep.
thing. But there's a lot of drug, use, and I think maybe the notion is that it's cheaper place. The cost of living is cheaper out there, but it's
I found out some interest. I looked into this too because Lindsay also has a name for one of the highest teenage pregnancy towns, like all this kind of stuff, right?
single.
I'm caught.
one-way
Sorry about that.
single mothers.
But
Sorry about
a big influence is the town is a relatively small town, but they have that massive jail,
Yeah, the
right?
jail.
And what
Yeah.
happens is a lot of the guys that are in jail, their families, their wife with the kids, and
They
that
move up.
they move into town as well.
To be closer.
And that's why you have all that. You see all these young ladies with kids pushing baby carriages around and shit, and you go, what the hell's going on in this town? That's one of the reasons. Yeah.
Wow.
Good fishing out there, though.
All of Ontario, though.
Yep.
Right? Holy shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. You guys.
Ice fishing is over.
Okay, so Murph just dropped in.
All right.
Oh, did he?
And he's got a little experience with places like Lindsay. Aurelius number one.
No, I don't think so. For what? For fishing?
Unwed single.
Oh,
teenage pregnancies.
Yeah, you're probably right there. I agree. Yeah,
I did
Dale and Penna tag. Okay.
Aurelia to me it was
Murph knows from
1570.
experience. His job is actually to work with people like that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Or wives. No. And he worked up in Aurelia, so.
I did. Well, Aurelia was where 1570 was. I did a little bit of part-time work up there, and it was Aurelia's legendary hits. So every time you said it, this is Aurelia's legendary hits.
Oh,
jeez, it's like, you know,
yeah, okay, I got you there. So for single moms, yeah, probably. I've never lived in or visited, I should say, a city that, and this is including Toronto. I'm very serious. Right. That sirens are like every friggin' seems like every 15 minutes. It's crazy for sirens.
Yes.
For friggin' real.
So,
yeah. I would agree to the other for sure, but yeah, there's lots of.
It's a common background noise, like birds almost. It's just there all the time.
For real, George. No, it's odd for the size of the city and the whole bit, but and so it must be some of the other as well. And of course, there's drugs. Too much drugs there.
Oh yeah. But that happens in those kind of areas, isn't it? Where they're just a bit away from the big towns, you know. Just the way it is. Yeah.
Well, it's a city. There's everything there, including obviously lots of young pregnant teenage girls. That's not why I was visiting Aurelia either.
Aurelia's legendary hits. Yeah, those are the days.
But if anything, while visiting that in that, so what I'm saying is that in one of the actual buildings, I just sort of thought that what can I say? Not everybody is, I don't know, and whatever. But I couldn't believe that at least 26 people in this particular building. And I would seem like 28 of them are on a disability and something's wrong and the government's screwing they're taking care of their granddaughter. There's no pets allowed and blah, 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 blah. And there's something very, very, very wrong. And I just kind of went, I don't think I want to visit. I don't think I want to visit this apartment building anymore. Thank you.
Yeah. So, it's sad.
Yeah. Other than that, there's a buddy of mine that owns the Geneva Entertainment Center. They do some great shows. You brought up Anvil there a few times. We have. So yeah, the last Anvil show that I did, at least with those guys, was there. So other than that, I think I went only because my area we didn't have Wendy's, and we just got that the last year. So now I have no reason to go to Aurelia really, other than maybe to see Russ and them lives up there from the Killer Dwarves, and we'll visit him maybe.
Right.
Other than that, no.
Did you know Beaverton just got an A&W? We're stepping up in the world.
No way.
Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I lived in Brecken for a while.
Oh shit! That's just up the road. Nice.
I know. Oh no! Yes, one of the nicest places I've lived a long time. I loved it because it gave me access to my friends over my way and to be able to get to shows that I was doing a lot of the time. I love to say their names because you would know them. I won't say their last name, but you may know them if I say their first name. So Andy and Tracy from Brecken.
Andy and Tracy. Doesn't ring a bell right now.
That's okay. But anyway, I lived there for over 2 years.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Even the trains, I didn't give a screw about the trade.
Oh, you mean like Andy Curran?
Yeah, I didn't say that, but yes. No, yes.
There you go. That's why you didn't say the last name.
Well, there's a few guys. A really true story.
Sounds like Andy Huron.
Yeah, let's go with that.
That's it.
A true story is when I was working at Q107 in the Hog, I hung with Parker Wayne from Glass Tiger. His home in Aurora was built by a log home built by his mother-in-law. I thought that was the coolest effing story I'd heard in years.
Really?
Nice beautiful log home, yeah, that was built by his mother-in-law.
My mother-in-law built hell.
Built hell?
She built hell. She's the devil.
I said nothing.
We aren't going down that rabbit hole about mother-in-laws. No.
No.
Oh,
Hey,
let's not
at
go
the beginning of the show, you mentioned you wanted to say something about tips. What was that?
Oh, yeah. Tips.
Yeah. You want to say something about tips.
I'm a big tipper, so.
Yeah.
Not public service, but like servers and it's not an easy job because I mean I've done some bartending and stuff like that at Music Hall and by the way, if you have a smart serve, you have to get it updated, but soon. But I noticed that if you look at it, the pay scale for people in that serve in bars and whatnot, and some of them don't even get paid a minimum wage. They get
they deserve more money for hourly. That's shit wage they get per hour.
Yeah, it absolutely is, but it hasn't changed. So, it's all in the tips, and some of these restaurants, like I went to I won't say the name of it. It's one of these big steakhouse chains, and I don't know. I spent probably a couple $100 at least.
It's easy.
And I gave the server I think it was a $50 tip.
Yeah.
Which relative to the bill but it's about the service at the end of the day. Like I went to a pub last week and my bill was nothing. It was it might have been $40. So I gave almost the equivalent to the server, right? So that's off the scale. It's not on the the 10%, 15, 20.
Yeah.
But a lot of them now are they've got the new pay things with the great service, best service ever, blah blah blah, and they are trying to push the range over. And what I don't agree with there is that to me it's I'd ask the question is the establishment paying the server a minimum wage at least, right? And in a lot of cases the answer is no. They're working for cash, right?
Yeah.
And if they are getting paid, then what's a reasonable tip, right?
Yep.
So I think that a lot of people tip 15%, some tip 10.
Yep.
I personally don't agree that that's enough. I mean, if you've got a great, had great service,
isn't that what comes up on the machine? Is that what comes up on the machines at 10%? You guys?
Well, you can choose. You can choose an amount, or you can choose a percentage or whatever. But this is my thing about this. Like, we just went out for dinner Valentine's Day, to a steak place too, and when I saw the bill, they had already put the tip on it, and it was 20%.
Yeah, that's
right.
So cool.
No.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's Valentine's Day. I'm out with my wife and another couple. We're having a good time. I'm not going to make stink about it. But when I left, I saw the manager and I said, "This is bullshit, right? A tip is exactly that. And I tip fairly. But if I get shitty service, you're not getting a good tip.
Oh, I agree.
And
with
like what Ringo did, he says sometimes you get these people, they're fantastic. They're friendly as hell. They get you whatever you want. They're super awesome. You know what? They get a big tip. Because you just made my experience that much better. You were awesome, right?
And the other thing is when I go out, I don't like if I Uber or something, fine, I'll have some drinks, but I don't drink and drive at all. I won't even have.
Oh, you can't risk it today. It's stupid.
No, it's not even that. It's like I'm. Sometimes I'll have a drink or but I'm not. I can't. I don't call myself a beer drinker. I can drink beers, but anyway, when I go to a bar, usually if I'm the driver, I'm not going to drink at all. So I'll drink like Diet Pop or something like that. So, where a lot of cool bars, and I call them cool because they don't charge for it. I mean, the amount of cost for a pop is not, it's nothing if they're doing well on the.
I thought most.
Look what Murph just said. Murph just said here, Boston Pizza, $4.50 for a glass of pop. For fuck's sakes, that's insane. That's insane.
And it's fountain pop too. It's but I like
especially if you're a DD. A lot of places I've gone to, if you say you're the DD, they give you pop. They give you pop for free.
I agree to that.
Pretty much for free. But what I do
that's how it should be.
Yeah, and if I experience that, which is at most pubs, like a lot of pubs too will give you cans of pop and they're charging you for every one. But like I know at McGuire's in Ajax, it's one of my favorite places to go for food. It's amazing and just good times. The servers are awesome. But when I go in there, they bring me a mug of pop because they're tired of coming. Just saves them from coming back a bunch of times. But,
wasting the time. Yeah.
But I appreciate that, and I give them big ass tips. Right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've heard it all when it comes to it because Liz, Mrs. George, has been a waitress till she retired.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I've heard everything, So when we go out or whatever, the natural instinct for the waitress is to hand me the machine or whatever, or give me the bill, and I just go, okay, do you handle it? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, cheap bastard, like he's got her paying for him, but it's not.
You don't give her your card.
I know, right? It's like it's almost natural that a guy will pay for it.
But I do that because she looks at everything and she's a huge tipper. If you're good, it's like I'm like, whoa, and she must have been damn good. You know what I mean? Like she does that, right?
I do in the business that as well. I mean, I've been known like it's. I think. I won't. I had a.
Once again, notice how the married guy hesitates when it comes to saying something about that.
No, I've given some pretty big tips.
Ringo,
I ever gave me was $500. So it's when I was a high roller, not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But see, when they put the tip on the bill, when they put it on and don't let you tip. Like I said, I told the guy, your server was not up. The server was not up to snuff. And 3 of the people out of the 4 that had dinner were not really that happy with their meals.
And there's a good reason.
And now you're charging us 20%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the 4 of us, it was a $500 bill for the 4 of us. So
at the start of all this. So a Subway is what I'm referring to. Do they? I'm just asking. Do they deserve a tip at a Subway?
Like a Subway, the sandwich place?
Yes.
Well, of course
not,
they are.
Not Beaverton,
because
if they don't like making your sandwich, they throw it at you.
Artists.
So no, well.
Right? Remember that, Ringo?
Good answer.
If they don't like the way you want your sandwich made, they throw it at you. That's what they do in Beaverton.
Oh, really? Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. I had the girl making a sub. She didn't like what I was asking to put on the sub, and I asked her to do it neatly. Yeah. She threw the sub at me.
Get the frig out of
Really,
here.
she threw it at you. She might have been
How
having
is
a
she not fired
bad
for that
day.
kind of shit?
Hey,
How is she not fired for throwing a sandwich at a customer?
That's
exactly.
assault.
Because
I've
I
been
took pictures.
assaulted with
I
a
took pictures
sandwich.
right away. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got pictures of there's cheese and lettuce and shit all over me, and it was all over the place.
No shit. She actually
Wow.
hit you with it.
Oh, she threw it up, and it just kind of busted open and
What
landed
was
on
it?
me and
What is it
all
she
over the
didn't like
restaurant.
about your order? What was it that took offence to?
Well, she was just, you know what? If someone's going to make me a sub or a hamburger or something, I have to eat that, right?
Yeah,
So when you're building my food, make it like you give a shit.
I agree.
Like, you don't fucking throw it all like McDonald's. They just throw it in a box, close it, and here you go, and you open it, and it's just a fucking mess, right? You might as well put my burger in the milkshake, and I'll just have it all at once.
Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
I like to have my sandwich built nicely,
Right.
you know? So, and you see her, and she's already just hacking, throwing shit around, and she's got an attitude, and I'm like, whoa, I just told her nicely, just relax. There's no hurry. Take your time when you're making my sandwich. And then, she would put, cucumber on it, and I said, could you put a little more on? So she'd get 2 more and put 2 more. I said, could you do that again, please? And she just didn't like what I was saying. She just had an attitude right when I walked in, and she was just mad as hell about something.
Wow.
And she took it out. She took it out on the customer. So yeah, it was great.
How far in the building of the sandwich before it came to her actually grabbing the fucking thing and throwing it at you?
Just wild. I just looked at her and I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?" And then she stormed off in the back. So I took pictures, right? Because I need proof when I talked to the manager. So I pretty much ate at Mr. Sub for free for a year. So it was not bad. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I told the guy, I said, I have my own radio show. So, right. I kind of hinted, and he got it right away.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, yeah." Uh-huh.
So did the person get fired?
I didn't see her for the longest time.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I went back there one day and she was there. And she walks out, "Can I help you?" And I looked at her and I said, "No." Get someone else over here, please.
Yeah, you should have said, you could just, if you got the time, could you just throw a sandwich together for me?
Yeah. or next time, give me the heads up, and I'll try and catch it next time.
No, just throw one together for me. Whatever you want.
Yeah, just slam it together.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
All of spam sandwich.
Must have been a bad day. Bad day at the office for her.
Wow.
I told my buddy Danny, who's in the food industry, has his own restaurant. When I told him that, he was shocked.
Yeah.
He looked at me, he goes, "Heiko, no." I said, "Yeah," and I showed him the pictures, and he lost his shit.
Good thing it wasn't toasted.
Yeah, have hot cheese fall on you.
You could have in this new suing world done it with head office. It got boxed up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
world
It's
is
not the
a mess.
U.S. I mean, unfortunately.
No, but it's becoming that, Ringo. Look at it, too much. Regardless, too many. Like it's becoming a suing world. More
It
and more.
is. It's stupid.
Yeah. Oh, like crazy. I'm getting sick.
But here's the thing, okay, and I don't want to get into a whole thing about it, but
no, because we can't.
So I like I know you've got, you rave about your healthcare providers and everything, and that's great. I, on the other hand, had an awesome experience with healthcare a few years ago. I'll say seven years ago. And it wasn't always that way, but it was a good experience. And then I found there was a lot of teaming, a lot of good communication in the university health system.
Wow.
Health network, right? However, so recently, I would say, back in latter part of last year, my experience was very, very different. And to the point where, let's say more of the mature staff was very ornery and unpleasant. And then the younger staff didn't know shit from Shinola. You know, I mean,
and they don't give a shit either.
No, and they don't. They. So in ICU, and I won't say what hospital. Maybe I should. I don't know. ICU, you should not standing around with your cell phone on TikTok. Well, you're supposed to be. You know, an ICU today is a pod. They call them pods.
Right.
So they'll have 4 beds in a pod.
Shouldn't even be holding the phone.
And you'll have a nurse or some kind of healthcare professional at each window, right? Overlooking that patient, because they can have all kinds of things wrong with them. Anyway, but I don't see where in the manual it says that you can freely go on TikTok and Facebook and everything else. Because I actually have a video of someone doing that. Because when I see that shit going on, I don't take it lightly, because the same network several years ago, almost 10 years ago now, was a shit show, right? Especially in the recovery areas on, it was, anyway, shit show. So to the point where in the middle of the night, I'd find people at the nurse's station sleeping, right? When they've got critical people in step down, right? Like, and they need to be watching these monitors for anything, right? Like, I mean, the ECGs will pick up certain things, but not everything.
We sure as hell shouldn't be sleeping. Come on.
Sleeping, exactly. So I actually, so what I did, I took a lot of pictures and I went to patient relations, and I said, hey, you know, here it is. Don't argue with me. Don't make up excuses. It's right here. Right. Yeah. So I lucked out, and I had somebody really good, patient relations director, and I wound back at the hospital about a year later on the dot, and everything had changed 100%. You know, like a 360, but positive, right? Noticed a lot of really good communication and everything else, but somehow I think we put everyone in the healthcare space on a pedestal during COVID, right? Because hey, they're brave and all of that, which absolutely I don't take anything away from that. But again, back to our illustrious leaders of the country, complete idiots, have done nothing to reward these people, make sure that wages, like PSWs have the toughest job in healthcare, and they get paid the absolute least amount of money, right? And it's not, those are the ones that take care for people for long term, right? I mean, it's, and they work in
but you got to be careful there too, because a PSW is not educated like an RN is. A PSW, all they can do is, if there's medication a patient has to take, they can give it to them. They can cook for them, they can clean for them, they can wipe their ass, they can shower them. That's what a PSW can do. And that's why they get paid what they do, is because they did not go to school to do the critical thinking and anything beyond that. So you got to be careful there, because that's a big sore spot. And what the government has done now, it's there's talks about offering the PSWs a big raise, but not the RNs. And the RNs are the ones that hold everything together.
Michael.
But yeah, it's mind-boggling.
And some are upset because they're giving them free monies to cover their costs and be able to do some of the RN responsibilities and or the hourly as well, but they haven't gone to school for it properly. So it's
No.
it's a touchy subject, right?
It
now.
is. It is.
Well,
And
there's
that's why there's so
right now,
many
you see on the
RNs
news,
leaving.
the hospital. They laid off a bunch of nurses. Like,
Yeah.
how do you even hear that in today's world? How do you lay
Yeah.
off nurses? Well, it's because of the nurses
Well-
that are in that area that they're not busy for whatever reason. So you get it that they can't just leave their jobs to go somewhere else. It doesn't work that way because
No.
they work at that hospital.
Yeah.
But now, of course, if you're laid off, how long can they actually go before they will have to go somewhere else? When all these other hospitals right across Canada are dying for nurses, it's weird to hear a nurse being laid off. Period.
Well, I hear that firsthand, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, where my wife works, when that COVID nonsense with the vaccines happened, they let 97 nurses go.
97.
97. This is in one hospital.
Oh, I know the hospital well. Remember, I lived in Newmarket. It was Newmarket, you said, right?
And that following week, the Barrie Hospital hired 46 nurses. So you can't tell me it's got to do with COVID and all that bullshit.
You gotta wonder.
It's management. They're trying to run the hospital like a business. They're trying to make money. So the higher paid people, they're letting them go, and they're trying to get the lower paid people in on the bottom end, like the PSWs, and they want them to do the work that the RNs do, but that's not possible.
This shit isn't going on when we hear these stories, including what Ringo's saying there. It doesn't mean that, like what you're not offending me or being delicate about the subject, Ringo. I get what you're saying, but you know, you got a shitty experience. It's not that everything that I've got was sweet either. It was mostly good or whatever, but look at the shit stories that are going on because of whatever reason as well. More than anything, though, you know, better than what they deal with in the United States. I think anyway.
Yeah, there is a change happening. It's going to take a while for it to all work itself out. You have your what do you call it? Your mature nurses that have been around for a long time. They're good at their jobs. They work hard. They're all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then you have your millennial nurses. They are the big problem. They're the ones on their phones just talking about their kids all day long, not giving a shit.
Yeah.
But the new nurses that are coming in now in their very young 20s, they've just come out of school.
Right.
I hear they're awesome.
Good.
They're really good. So there is a change happening, right? And like Ringo, when he was in the hospital, I was in the hospital as well. I saw it firsthand. You have your mature staff are great. They look after you. They're kind. Like, love it. I had a great stay in Lindsay. But in the evening, when they had the young nurses on, what a fucking joke. Like, what a joke. I could hear them because I was the first room from the nurses station. They were so effing loud. I couldn't sleep. They're just laughing, cackling, joking around.
Carrying on like a party, making the hour they did there. That's disgusting. And then, like you said, when they're having a nap. I mean, give me a
They're either sleeping or partying. You know what I mean? They're on their phones,
on camera, fire. They're fired.
And then the problem is, they're not doing their job because the sound the bell makes when you're a patient and you press the little button there, and the bell rings. I could hear the bells going off.
Yeah.
I didn't hear. They did not change anything. I was late on getting my pain medication. I was starting to hurt, so I pressed the bell too. I could hear the buzzer, and I started pressing it like this. I could hear it going off. I actually had to yell from my room to get a nurse to come.
Jeez.
And when she came, I was freaking mad. I said, "What the hell's wrong with you idiots down there? You sound like a bunch of turkeys.
I could have
go and look after your patients." I said, "I can hear the buzzers going, and you're not doing your jobs." It's like that's the problem.
Like we were saying there, this could be a whole friggin' show in itself. There.
So. Oh, I know, but you don't want to sit and bash people. It's just unfortunately that age group has a bad name because they do this, and I was in a factory where cell phones were not allowed on the floor. Now, most of these other places, there is absolutely no reason why you would ever have to have your phone, right? If you want to check on your kids or check on this or call somebody, do it on your goddamn breaks.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, one
You
thing
do not need to have your phone in your pocket.
Right. The common thread, though, for everything is, you know, regardless of the PSWs versus nurses versus doctors or whatever, like it's piss poor management of hospitals.
It is. It is.
And you know, this bullshit about, oh, my hands are tied, I can't do, I can only work with, no, like there are unions. No, but there are unions to manage, right?
Yep.
Which you got to have some strong leadership to deal with all of that. But at the end of the day, the hospital can hire and fire whoever they need to, right? And if it's a case of, hey, I've got people that are way like off the guardrails because, you know, of just stupidity, then get rid of them. Set some examples. You know, outright fire them, manage the bloody hospitals. And that's where it's fallen apart, right?
It has.
Probably not that you just said it like that. You're probably right, Ringo, that they maybe don't, unless it's really something really bad, because they can't get anybody to fill the position.
Well, what'll happen is if it's a nurse or PSW, I mean, they can run into grievances and stuff like that, and nobody wants that kind of heat. But it's like, okay, then don't put spineless people in. Trust me, I work in that environment a lot, and it comes down to, is it an engaged management team or not? Who runs that hospital, right?
Oh no, I totally agree.
And then you've got the doctor element, right? Which is, you know,
oh, that's another thing altogether.
Pompous, arrogant, whatever. Could be great doctors, great people to work with, but nothing. There's no level playing field, right? How do you manage a doctor?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they actually run the show.
Yes.
Right. They run the show there.
Yeah.
They really do, because they're the ones who classify if it's an A, B, or C case. So if a certain doctor wants lots of overtime, he just pumps the operations through, and he works away all night and gets lots of OT. Right.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's just wild.
Anyway, we gotta wrap it up.
The next 5 years, there's an enormous amount of doctors that are going to be retiring too. So, so look out.
Oh, by then we're going to have our robot doctors and our robot nurses.
Yeah, they're already there.
They're already out there. They are. I'm not kidding you, folks. They're out there. It's not funny. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. There's a lot of other shit that's already out there that people don't even really know about, because it's very hush. It's hush, hush, quiet, quiet. But it's coming, and it's going to be really shitty.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to talk about it maybe on another show or whatever.
Sure.
But they're starting to install digital ID gates at grocery stores. Have you seen that? Wow. Yeah. So it's coming, folks. And don't think it's cool IT. It's cool tech. It's not cool at all, because you don't know the way it's going to be used.
All these robotic things go on. There's episodes of the Twilight Zone we'll talk another time that are kind of scary about today's world. They are.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. Write it down so you remember.
You live in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Woo. Well, boys, that was fun.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. We didn't have a lot of fans communicating with us tonight. We just had Kathy, Keisha, and Murph. So you guys, when you're out there and you're listening to our show, throw us a line, throw us a word. Tell us we're full of shit.
I think
man
popped in.
Oh, did he? Well, oh man, if you were there, that's awesome. Yeah. So before we go to Junior, just tell us again quickly what's going on April 28th at the Rock Pile.
Yeah, it's just because it's around the birthday time. They're not centered around my birthday by any means.
No, but
joke about that. So the Permanent Waves are playing. That's our headliner. They're a great Rush tribute band. These guys have been doing it a while, and coincidentally enough, or not, sometimes not. Anyway, the drummer, he's also Kim Mitchell's drummer. So Dave Narsing is his name. He's a phenomenal, great guy and a great drummer.
Yep.
And Andy, Dave Langeth. I'm sorry, Andy Narsing, their bass player. I don't know their guitar player as well, but anyway, they're playing the 28th. And again, James Narrow, the great Phil Narrow, his son is showing up as well with his team member there, and another band. So that's what's going on the actual 28th. I'm just trying to throw in because, as I said, the next day is the birthday, so maybe some friends and some fans and whatnot will show up and celebrate with me.
Sure, sounds like fun.
This Saturday, I'm at the Rock Pile with Iron Priest. Some great guys. Sven Galley, some of the guys from Sven Galley are in this tribute band, Iron Priest. And my very good friend for hooking me up with the show, Troy Ellis, is a guitar player in the band. So this Saturday, I return to the Rock Pile.
That's a long drive for you, buddy.
I want to make sure in my nightmares. The 25th is yes. Yes. Okay. But yeah.
All right. And if any of you guys are hungry and you're out in the Stouffville area, go up to Country Stop Burger. Go see Danny Michelle. They have wicked food there, and now they have one of the best breakfasts around. So it's pretty funny. You go in the morning, see all the trucks pulling in, getting their coffee, their breakfast.
Cool to see. I like that.
Yeah. It's a great place.
You don't have
Country
to be
Stop Burger, folks.
Or Tim Hortons or whatever. So good.
No. And like again, it's just the other day I said to the wife, let's go get a burger. And we drove all the way down there. You know? Right, it's worth it to get good food these days. I'm really tired of all the crappy fast food places. It's just you're eating garbage. You're just eating garbage.
Absolutely.
So anyway, enough of that nonsense. We just rant and rave all night.
Especially about food.
All right, guys. Thanks again for being on the show. You guys are awesome co-hosts. Junior, it's always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, guys.
And you fans as well. Thanks for being a part of our show. We're going to see all you guys right here next Monday night on the Heikadelic Show. Take care. See you then.
Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.